podcast so nice you'll wanna watch it twice. Filmoscopy. Fuck.
That's what it sounded like.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Filmoscopy, a podcast where three friends bring forth movies from their past so that they can discuss them and sometimes dunk all over them like we will likely be doing in this episode. Joining me are
Spoilers.
Lance.
Hello.
And Owen.
Hi.
And I am Cody, Kowabunga dude.
It feels so good to be with you guys again. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, it's been a month since we recorded, which I did want to take a moment just to kind of address everything that's happened, or at least some of the things that have happened. So basically, on Christmas Day, my family got together. There were about 12 of us, and 9 out of the 12 ended up catching COVID. I did not show symptoms until New Year's Day. And we had, all three of us had gotten together at my house to record the year-end episode and the Godfather episode. And
we were all excited about it, too.
Yeah.
This is
We're going to the mothership.
Yeah.
Going to the mothership and getting sick.
And then, unfortunately, you two also caught COVID. But, you know, when no one's showing symptoms, you know, it's impossible to know.
We definitely should not have kissed on the mouth.
I mean, I enjoyed it. It was very revealing to me.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that should not have been done with COVID going on.
Yeah, it was nice, but we had to wait.
Cody has very soft lips. Owen has very girl lips.
And
like a bird.
I did want to take a moment, because of everything that happened. My grandmother had caught COVID, and unfortunately it led to her developing pneumonia, which led to her passing away. So she passed away about a week and a half ago from this recording. And I mean, it's a tragic event, it's you know, one of the many reasons why it's been a month since we've recorded. But yeah, I don't want to dwell on it too long. But you know, I've made a post online about it, and you know, it was very heartbreaking. I was very close to my grandmother, and it's just hard, you know.
And you know, not only adding to that, it was just weird. My grandmother passed away a day after yours, and luckily enough, it wasn't COVID related, but she had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And it kind of just spread throughout her body, and she wanted to go home in hospice and die comfortably. And the few times I got a chance to see her, you know, her eyes were kind of open and she can kind of mumble, but, you know, her body was already failing at that point. So I was able to say, you know, goodbye to her, and I was, you know, like Cody, I was close to mine as well. And, you know, Cody had his grandmother's viewing on a Saturday, and the very next day, I was burying my grandmother, and it was just, I mean, not weird and like, hey, this just, you know, that's kind of ironic, isn't it? No, it's just, it's really sad, and it's just kind of weird how that kind of worked out, you know, and
yeah, a very unfortunate coincidence.
It's just, you know, my grandmother was only 71, and which is young because, you know, I'm 32, so, you know, she was like 38, 39 when I was born. I was her firstborn grandkid, and you know, just one of those things you just don't know when you're not going to see somebody again. So, you know, anybody that's listening that cares to hear about it, just, you know, when you say goodbye to somebody, make sure you tell them what they mean to you, and you're able to at least just, you know, hug them or something. I know it's COVID, keep your mask on, but.
Yeah, please, like, do not take this shit lightly.
It's not a joke.
You know, even with the three of us having it in a more mild fashion, it is not fun to have.
It sucks. And, like, you know, Jesus Christ, the people out there that said, "Oh, it's not as bad as the flu." Let me fucking tell you, I don't want the flu. This motherfucker put me on my ass for at least 5 days. I mean, I missed 5 days over the course of 2 weeks of work because I didn't know I had it. I had tested negative. And that was the scary thing. I had tested negative on a rapid test after like 4 days of symptoms.
And you took like 2 rapid tests. They both came out negative.
Yeah, and then the 3-day test towards the end had come out and said, I mean, I was positive. And I had already still felt better at that point, but it was pretty terrible. And like I said, I still can't really taste and barely, I can't smell for sure. I can barely taste things.
Yeah, that's the beauty of COVID. It's fucking, if you get it and get better, you might not be able to fucking taste again or smell. So.
Yeah. And it's a small price to pay. Like I said, the people that don't take it seriously, because you're like, because if you're young enough, you may get it and then you'll be out for a couple of days and you'll be fine. But, like the older people and the people that do have underlying health concerns, people that don't know they have underlying health concerns, that's the scary part. They get this shit and they end up dying. I mean, a healthy 30-year-old people are dropping dead from COVID. So it is a very serious thing. I know it's not something we all want to fucking deal with. And everybody's like, oh, it's no big deal. I wish things go back the way they were. Well, it's not going to happen until everybody gets vaccinated and keep social distancing until this fucking thing dies off. Yeah. And, thoughts are with Cody going through all this because, you don't get over losing somebody. No matter what, and they're always there. And, I'm sure I'll do a little tribute on the next episode because that's one of my grandma's favorite movies that we're going to be covering, Psycho 2. But this is Cody's episode, so I'll turn it back over to him. But it is very serious, people, this shit. And, people are losing their loved ones. And it's not just it's as bad as a flu thing to them. They're not going to, people are losing their mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers and cousins and stuff like that. And they're never going to be able to see them again. So this is very serious shit. So please, keep your social distancing, keep your mask on, and, quit fucking telling everybody.
And get vaccinated whenever
quit
it's
telling
available.
people, it's just as bad as the flu. No, fuck you. Okay?
I'm not a sheep. I don't wear my mask. That's what separates the people from the sheep, tell you what.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they're going to be tracking us with this vaccination.
This vaccine has got fucking some kind of microchip in it.
Hey, my phone has Google, and they're probably tracking me on this too, though.
I love that. They're like, they're recording this shit with their iPhone. They're like, I ain't going to get the vaccine because it'll spy on you and all.
I do love TikTok, though. Woo, mom and daddy.
Hey, TikTokers.
Their post says posted from iPhone and
they
Arlington,
post every
Texas,
second
or
of their
whatever.
fucking lives on Facebook. Oh, the government's gonna be tracking me with, but on my iPhone and posting every fucking moment of my life on Facebook. Amazing.
Like the government truly gives a damn that they're going back to their damn trailer at the end of the day.
Or what kind of porn you watch?
Sleeping with a possum.
Well,
or
I do
whatever
care
it is they're
about
doing.
I mean, I care what kind of porn I watch. I don't need them knowing, like, this dude's got every kind of extreme.
It's like, damn, dude.
So let's get into some more lighthearted fare here. Today we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Lost in
3,
Time.
the
No, it's not that
movie.
Yeah, but they put that on post like fucking. I forget when.
We're covering this movie in post.
Yeah, but when the movie first came out, they did not have the subtitle Turtles in Time. Did you know that?
I mean, I know that now.
Did they
they
add
added
that?
it
I don't
later
think they
on.
ever added
The
that
first
officially.
thing that when people the first like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing that came out that was called Turtles in Time was fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time for the fucking Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh,
Super
yeah,
or Super Nintendo, either one.
No,
I don't know
Super
which one it was,
Nintendo.
but it was a Nintendo game, and it was TMNT 4.
Yeah, it was Super Nintendo. Trust me, I
Yeah.
played the shit out of that game when I was a
And
kid.
it's not that game's not related to this movie either. So
Yeah, but I mean, I love Ninja Turtles.
No, which is bizarre. The numbering for that game was actually a side effect of like, I don't know. They had like weird instances where some games were released here and some were released in Japan, and the ones in Japan were numbered differently than the ones in the U.S.
like Final
it's
Fantasy
all
shit,
messed up.
where it's
Dragon
like
Ball Z.
fucking Final Fantasy 3 is Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah, and it wasn't until like the last 10 years or so they finally started releasing it here as Final Fantasy 6. Because here it's like you got Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden you get Final Fantasy 7. It's like, what happened to the other ones? So, budget for this movie was $21 million, and the box office was $54.5 million. It was a box office success, but they decided not to make a fourth movie.
You know what the budget was for the first one?
No, I don't.
Like it's like 10 fucking million. That's it.
Wow.
I think it was a huge success. Of course, like I said, Ninja Turtles was going crazy at this point.
Yeah.
I wonder why they stopped making them. Is it just like
Stop making what?
Well,
these movies?
according to
According
to IMDb trivia, it says that there was originally going to be a fourth installment in the franchise called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. In this concept, the ooze that transformed the Turtles and Splinter was still in their bodies, causing a much more drastic second mutation. Another plan that was
bigger cocks.
Another plan that was discussed was to add a fifth turtle named Kirby. However, the project got stuck in development, and plans for a fourth theatrical live-action movie fell apart. The concept of having the turtles mutate into creatures did see the light of day in the New Mutation saga of the TMNT cartoon, and later the live-action Next Mutation installment moved to television in a live-action series produced by Saban, titled Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. There was a fifth turtle, and it was a female turtle.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think that show flopped hard.
She has turtle boobs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very bizarre.
Nice.
And they made 2007, they had an animated movie that's kind of loosely connected to these three.
Oh, is it?
So that's kind of like the part 4.
That TMNT movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The one in 2007?
Yeah.
You don't like that one, Cody?
no, I remember going to the theater to see it, and I was so excited to see that movie, and I just left so disappointed. I was just like,
were you gonna say you walked out?
no.
Like, I'm fucking done.
you pulled a me during fucking Star Wars Episode 3. This sucks. I'm getting the
You
fuck
just
out of
stand
here.
up in the middle of the theater. This sucks, and walk out.
I could have. I bet people would have fucking cheered if I stood up and was just like, "This is shit."
I don't remember hating that movie that much. I saw it in theaters. I mean, I was dating the theater manager at the time.
Yeah.
Squidward. That's Squidward.
I'm Squidward. Squidward.
If we make money off this podcast one day and sell Squidward shirts, I'm gonna not give the money to Nickelodeon.
If she sues us for fucking defamation,
I'm like, I don't think you understand. Look at her nose. And they're gonna see it in court, and they're gonna be like,
"Oh, okay,
yeah, you're right.
All right.
Sorry, ma'am. We ain't gonna support your other 4 kids with his money."
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
I do declare.
I do declare her nose to be very massive.
I swear, you guys
Almost Squidward-like.
I wish you guys would listen to In Voorhees We Trust with the Southern lawyer bit he does. He goes, "Well, I'm defending Jason here," and it's so fucking good. But yeah, this movie was the only one that didn't use the Jim Henson production company. Which, for people that don't know, Jim Henson made the Muppets, and he had a whole company. They end up.
Yeah.
I think they had a partnership with Disney for a while, and he was looking for Disney to buy his company at this point. He ended up dying in 1990, and he had some I can't remember what it was, but he fell apart pretty quick. But his company is the same company that made the turtle suits and Splinter's costume in the first 2 Ninja Turtle movies, which are vastly better than this.
Yeah,
movie.
this one looks like fucking everything.
Well,
all the animatronics and suits in this just look like dog shit.
Well, I was going to say, the suits themselves, just the body and the skin and everything, they don't look terrible, but when they start talking, it just looks so bad. Oh yeah,
and they don't really blink like they're supposed to, man. Yeah. Like I said, I promise you, when you guys watch the first 2, and especially the second one is just a guilty pleasure, man. I know it's goofy, but
a lot of people
it looks.
Love the second one,
as realistic as a big rubber turtle suit can be. They fucking look incredible in those movies.
Yeah,
and then Splinter's voice in this one is it's terrible. I found this out, and the Jim Henson Company did the Dinosaurs TV show that lasted 4 seasons in the early '90s, which is a great TV show. I mean, it's funny, it's dark, it actually tackles a lot of subjects still being tackled today in the show. But he had Kevin Clash, who is the voice of Elmo for 25 years. He's no longer doing it. He was also the baby in Dinosaurs, the not the mama thing. But he was actually Splinter's voice in the first 2 movies because he works for the Jim Henson's company. So he was Splinter's voice in it. Well, you can definitely tell a huge difference. And this one, they brought back Corey Feldman, who wasn't in the second one as Donatello because of the drug possession. I did find that.
Yeah, and I was going to bring that up. It's part of the trivia here. When Corey Feldman was asked to be brought back, they said that they felt bad about not casting him for the second movie. However, when he asked for more money than the $1,500 he was paid on the first movie, he was told, "Yeah, but you were in rehab," so they only ended up paying him $1,500 again, which is
damn.
It's kind of messed up, like, you know.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, of course, at this point, like, he'd made a shit ton of money, and so, of course, he didn't see any money. His parents fucking spent it all on him. He was abused. He was sexually abused out in Hollywood too. He's made a lot of weird claims, which I tend to believe him. But he'd got really bad on heroin at this point.
Right.
In 1990 when the first movie came out. Because the first one came out in 1990, the second one was 91, and then this one was 93. Which is amazing that this movie was like 2 years before the first Mortal Kombat movie. And the martial arts is just terrible. I'm not going to shit on this movie right now. Because, like, I will say this, people. I watched Twilight the night before I rewatched this movie. I would watch this movie 10 more times before I'd watch Twilight again. And I have to rewatch Twilight for the podcast in a month or so.
He's making us all watch it.
Yeah, oh, God. But, yeah, I would watch this movie more. I would watch, let me tell you something. I gotta get this little bitch fest off my chest. Twilight has a 49 on Rotten Tomatoes. Venom is not a perfect movie, but it is a decent movie. It's a 30. Batman vs. Superman is a fucking 28. This movie is in like the 20s.
Yeah,
I don't think Twilight is better than any of those movies.
That's a good point. I was going to bring up the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie is 23%. And, you know, I know some people care about the Rotten Tomatoes score, and we try to always bring it up in our episodes, just as a sort of a gauge, I guess, to see what the general critique of the movie was compared to ours. But I kind of agree with, like, in the low 20s for this movie. It's not very good. So I guess let's talk about our experience with this movie, because I do want to say, you know, you talk about how the costumes for the first two movies were way better than this. I've never seen the first two movies. As a kid, this is the only one we had. We had it on VHS, of course. And
you know, to be fair, it was hard to find shit on VHS when you were a kid.
Right. And
it wasn't like you could just go down to fucking Walmart and have this whole DVD section. No, you got to go to the fucking mall.
Yeah.
And go to this video store that had VHSs.
Yeah.
Right.
Kids just don't know how hard it is. How hard it was. I should say. I am very hard.
You can't just look shit up on YouTube and rent it for $3 like we do.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It's at the touch of like 4 buttons, you have the fucking movie. Yeah. I had to fucking wait for my grandmother to drive to fucking the mall to find Friday the 13th Part 6 for my Christmas present.
Yeah.
You know, shit.
Yeah, and
but yeah, this movie, yeah, I had Part 2 on VHS, and that was the only one I had because I watched the first one once or twice. But yeah, the Part 2 was my like guilty pleasure of it. And I watched the old 87 to like 92 cartoon that came on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a Half Shell.
Turtle power.
So what about you, Owen? Have you ever seen this movie before?
I have never seen the third one. I think I've seen the first one before. My like greater experience with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has been almost non-existent.
Right.
Like I watched the cartoon, not the original cartoon from the 80s, of course, because that was like 10 years before my time.
Oh, excuse me.
but I watched the 2003 reboot, which the theme song for that has like been stuck in my head forever. Like the way it starts is like it's like turtles count them off, and then they go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the 4 turtles.
One of the turtle shows, they did a crossover event, and they had like all the villains.
Was it with Power Rangers?
No. I'm talking about Ninja Turtles. I'm talking about like they had like the 87 Shredder show up in like the 2007 series or 2003 series. I'm not sure which one.
It might have been 2003.
They did a crossover. It was like really fucking weird. And Uncle Phil in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he was Shredder's voice in that cartoon, the original.
That's awesome.
So I mean that's how I remember some of these voices.
Yeah, my experience with Ninja Turtles overall was seeing this movie as a kid, which I loved this movie as a kid. I would watch it all the time, and I hadn't seen this movie in like 20 years until yesterday. But after that, you know, they were playing reruns of the old animated series when I was growing up, so I'd watch that, and I had some of the toys.
How great
and
was
all
that theme song though?
What?
How great was that theme song?
Oh yeah, I mean it's so catchy. I mean, even to this day, even though I haven't actually heard it in who knows how long, I still remember it. But
it's very much better than the 2003 theme song. I literally, like, after I watched this movie, I was like, hey, I just remembered that 2003 series, and I remembered the theme song. I was like, I looked it up on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, that's cringy.
I have an idea for a grading scale on this movie, and I want you guys to think long and hard when we get to this.
Long and hard.
How many half shells it's worth?
Is this movie better or worse than The Last Jedi? This is how we're going to judge this movie.
It's better. I'd rather fucking watch this movie than The Last Jedi. Shit.
Hey, my answer will surprise you, and we're going to spoil alert at the end. Hi-yo.
Yeah, I know you're going to fucking pick, okay?
But beyond this movie and all that other stuff, I'd seen the 2007 animated movie, like I said, and it wasn't like that movie was bad. It was just disappointing. I expected more out of it.
Why didn't you like it?
I don't. That's the only time I've ever seen that movie was when it came to theaters, and I honestly don't remember why I didn't like it. I just specifically remember not being too happy with how it went. It's not like I was like pissed off or something. It's just like, oh, that movie was kind of boring or lame.
You're like, you're punching fucking holes in the fucking movie theater drywall.
The only time I've gotten genuinely mad at a movie theater was when we went to go see It Chapter 1, and we sat there, and like 20 minutes past the showtime, they still hadn't shown the movie, and they all of a sudden the ads pop up, and it's all pink and green, and they're like, sorry everyone, our projector's broken, so you're gonna have to get a refund. So then I have to like wait in line for another 20 minutes to wait for a refund, and I was so pissed because I'd been waiting so long to see that movie.
Do you remember, Cody, when we went to go see it in Hendersonville, all those kids were yapping next to me?
Oh yeah.
Did you smack him in the fucking head?
Oh, man. This is one of those things, like, I mean, it bothered me, but I looked over and I was getting nervous because I saw Cody getting pissed off. The It movie was kind of like a religious experience for him because he was excited to see it. It's updated. It's going to be great. And these kids are just like kind of like, I mean, loud kids. But I remember Cody just looking over. Cody's just like, and his pale skin got red. But it could have been just the projector. I don't remember.
Cody turns into fucking Red Hulk and starts fucking ripping their heads off.
He's like,
he sits back down and he's like,
the Red Hulk is the fucking general, isn't it?
Yeah, that's that general guy.
The guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott.
He's just a Hulk with a mustache.
He's like, let me tell you something, brother. No, Sam Elliott plays that general in the 2003 Hulk movie.
I'll tell you what.
Not that it cares, but, I don't know why we go on to fucking Marvel movies.
I don't know.
Marvel/Universal movie, excuse me, with 2003 Hulk.
Oh,
made by the guy who did Freddy vs. Jason.
The Incredible Cow.
I was going to ask y'all, have y'all ever seen the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies?
No. Is that the newest one where they look fucking weird?
And it's like really bad CGI.
Yeah.
Not bad CGI.
It was like there was a meme when that movie was coming out where Michelangelo takes off the mask and he's still like ugly as fuck. And they did a bunch of like reanimations where they make him like Shrek and shit. It's pretty funny.
Oh god. Now, I have the first one. I think the second one on Blu-ray. I just never watched them.
Yeah,
and I probably should just because I like Shredder as a villain who's not in this movie. Spoiler alert, but I know he's in one of them. And then they got Krang, and then I know Sheamus plays. I think Rocksteady or Bebop, one of the two.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, I haven't seen the second one. I've seen the first one. I remember watching. I was like, oh, that's fine. But I think I went into watching that movie with low expectations because it was a Michael Bay produced movie, and Michael Bay is a terrible filmmaker.
It looks like fucking Transformers.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, I have no interest in watching them, really.
Yeah, which
when Michael Bay was
we recently watched all the Transformers movies again, and Bumblebee, and I watched them again. Stephanie had never seen them, and
I'm a B.
Watching the first couple anyway. If it wasn't for Shia LaBeouf, those movies wouldn't be watchable.
Just do it.
But he carries those movies.
I gotta make one comment. Owen's not wearing socks or shoes, and his big toes are fucking huge.
You like
he looks like he could hang upside down on a fucking tree.
I could stick both of them.
Oh my god! These things look like fucking hammerheads. The fucking keys on a piano, and then at the bottom they have those little foot pedals. For
Yeah,
the
that's it. They look like the fucking octave pedals on
Yeah,
pianos.
but your other toes look like fucking piano keys. It's like fucking huge,
On
dude.
the piano,
What
man.
else you packing, baby? Pull your pants off.
Surprisingly small.
Before we start talking about elements from the movie, two more things I do want to say because I forgot to say them. The release date for this movie was March 19th, 1993, and it has a runtime of 96 minutes, which, thank goodness, because I don't think I could have taken much more of it.
I think March what now? Well, what was the date?
March 19th, 1993.
Jesus, man. My sister, she was 7 months from being born at that point. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was literally a year old when this movie came out.
That's why. That's weird that you had the VHS. I mean, it's not like you bought the VHS,
right? Yeah,
but it's weird how as a kid you have something you don't know where you got it from.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like I just always had it. It was just always there, right alongside my Barney VHSs.
Yeah,
and
my sister had a lot of those.
And like Aladdin and the Lion King and stuff, which came in those big like spongy VHS cases.
Yeah, I have a shit ton of those over there.
Yeah, but in those cases, I mean, those are actually really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And the Dragon Ball Z movies came in those, like Cooler, Slug, and Cooler's the second Cooler movie, and Broly.
Mm-hmm.
They all came in those kind of like padded packages.
My favorite of the padded. My favorite of the padded ones is the Monsters Inc. one because it's always like it's either completely blue or it's like see through.
Right.
And I like that.
That is pretty dope.
It makes me happy.
Is there? I'm just curious, like seeing how this is kind of like nostalgia for Cody and me. Is there like something that you wish you had, like growing up, as like the toy that you never had and you wish you had, and you looked it up and said that's too expensive?
Yes, fucking Mortal Kombat. When I was a kid, I always wanted like a little fucking like Scorpion action figure, but
this is why Owen's my best friend.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that right
I
now.
wanted Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and I remember like on my birthday, I was like, "Hey mom, can I get Sub-Zero and Scorpion?" Because like you're a dumb kid.
Does it look like they just Sub-Zero only has like that little blue shirt and black pants? And
I didn't know that they existed or not. I mean, I thought they did because I had seen fucking toys for shit like fucking Lost and shit, so I assumed that they probably existed somewhere. I was just like 5 or 4, so I was like dumb, and I just thought, hey, my mom could get these for me. So I was like, hey, can I get Sub-Zero and Scorpion, Mortal Kombat Ninja guys? And fucking mom buys the fucking like shitty like dollar store fucking ninjas, that are made of like the shitty plastic, and I'm like, these suck. I ended up taking them and fucking beating them against like a fucking concrete to like knock their heads off.
Oh my god, he's so violent.
Thinking of toys and like Ninja Turtles, I obviously had some Ninja Turtles toys, but I also had Street Sharks. Do you remember that show, Lance?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember. I don't remember watching it. I do remember seeing an advertisement for it, though.
Yeah, like I don't remember watching it either, but I had several of the action figures, which I always thought they were so cool. But to take your question and like adjust just a little bit, I don't really remember any toys that I really wanted as a kid and have looked up today. But there is one toy as a kid that I had, and I wish I still had it. And it was the Batmobile toy from Batman and Robin. Because
that's the one with the wheels, the hubcaps come out like little spikes.
I don't remember that exactly. My main memory of it is like when you rolled it, all the blue lights would come on, like in the engine compartment.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I literally had the Batmobile and all the fucking Batman characters from the Batman animated series. One year for Christmas, I had actually a fold-in like fucking a Wayne Mansion and shit like that. It was really fucking cool.
That's pretty cool.
My mom was really cool about getting shit. Like one year I had Spider-Man. I had Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage, and all that stuff. The one thing, I mean, I sit there and thought, I've had Ninja Turtle toys. Right now I'm going through kind of like I've been going through, but it's more not just randomized. Hey, I'm gonna buy that Ultimate Warrior. I've been trying to collect things that I liked as a child, and I got a shit ton of Ultimate Warriors. Cody's seen them, and I have quite a few Venoms and all this other stuff. I just got like a big Godzilla display because Cody's got these really nice IKEA display cases for his wife's Mickey Mouse shit.
Yeah.
And they're really fucking nice. And I like to try to get me one like maybe a little bit bigger like that to display all this shit in. But the one thing I'm looking for, and I'm sitting here thought like, okay, I have a Jason Voorhees now. I've got all these little pops that my buddy Alex just sent me for Christmas and my birthday over the last couple of years. I need a RoboCop and maybe a Michael Myers, but literally the Dragon Zord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from the Green Ranger.
Oh yeah,
that's the one fucking thing. It's like a mechanical Godzilla for anybody. He was my favorite when Tommy went from the Green Ranger to the White Ranger. I fucking quit watching. It sucked. There was literally they had a 2-episode thing where they made a Green Ranger clone. They brought back Dragon Zord one more time, which I loved. But literally, the cheapest Dragon Zord you can find is in pieces on Amazon on eBay for like $100. One that's intact is like $250. I bought me a little fucking like these little like I swear to God, it's probably the size of my finger, a little action figure, and it's a Green Ranger and a Dragon Zord and a little king. Wow. Still spent $30 on the motherfucker. I'm like, hey, well, this is my little display. But I probably need to get me a shredder. They have like a fucking super shredder that you could buy. Oh my God, the motherfucker's like 60. I'm like, fuck. Right. If I didn't have a girlfriend who probably wanted to move in with me eventually, shout out to Brittany. I probably would have bought the motherfuckers and just said fuck it.
To build off that question, okay, so have you ever wanted a toy that didn't exist? Like,
Ooh. That's a good question.
Like, have you ever like watched a movie or some shit and you're like, dude, I want a toy of that, but like they don't fucking exist?
I don't know because growing up, I feel like everything that you could have possibly wanted a toy of, they made a toy of.
Yeah, it felt like that. I tell you one thing. I think the one thing I'm pretty sure they've probably made a toy of it since then, but it had to be Space Godzilla. It's a clone. It's a 1992 Godzilla movie, and it's a space clone of Godzilla. He's got fucking crystals instead of spikes on his back and shit. He's fucking cool as hell looking. That's probably the one thing I would love is a Space Godzilla.
Mine really doesn't count because I mean they really have always made these, but like when you're a kid, you can't get your fucking hands on them. But like, I always, when I was a kid, I wanted, like, little World War II fucking, like, action figures. Like, I wanted some fucking Americans and some, like, Germans and have them shoot at each other and shit.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, when I was a kid, you would have to, like, those are, like, $200 fucking figures and shit.
Yeah,
so
they don't want your grubby little booger-covered hands all over them.
Yeah. I wanted, like, little fucking, like, tanks and shit, dude. I thought.
Did you ever have like those the bucket of like little G.I. Joes?
Yeah, I had
like
a shit ton. Dude, fucking when I was a little kid, I got one of those in blue and gray. They were the fucking Civil War dudes. I fell in love with those fucking things. I had them all over the place.
That's badass. Dude.
Yeah.
Is there anything? I'm just curious. Trying to think here. Is there anything that you guys have had as a kid that you actually went back and rebought just to have it? It's something that you were like maybe missing, something got broke, or anything like that. I'm just curious.
Shit ton of video games.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is just video games like the PlayStation 1 and stuff like
because when you're a kid, you're fucking stupid. And you like scratch them up because you fucking little tiny dumb hands can't. Like,
our problem was we would always just like we would never put them back in the case. We would always just like kind of stack them up, off to the side. So a lot of them just become unplayable.
Yeah. I went back and I had a Venom that if you squeeze his legs, his jaw would open, so it looked like his tongue was sticking out.
Yeah.
From the animated series, I had that. I rebought that, and I had a Swamp Thing from the short-lived 5-episode Swamp Thing. You are amazing TV show, and he was green, and you could stretch out his arm. But it was just string and it pulled back. But there was another one. I forgot about this one. He had brown legs and brown arms, but his torso was green. And if you put him in ice water, his torso would turn brown, so he'd be camouflaged like a tree. Yeah. And then you'd wash it off. I found one for like fucking $20 on eBay in the case still. I fucking rebought that motherfucker.
Damn, dude. They always try to overcharge shit like that too.
Because like, you got stuff like that. You have a sweat stain on your shirt.
Yeah, I get sweaty when we record the podcast.
Okay? I'm so anxious. It's just something like that's the main thing coming from this movie from a positive standpoint. I know we're going to probably shit on here in just a second, but it does bring back a nostalgia for me from everything. So like Ninja Turtles are tied into Power Rangers, Swamp Thing, Spider-Man, Batman, all the things I grew up in. Of course, Batman, they've had crossovers, Batman versus the Ninja Turtles, and shit like that. So that was the cool thing,
So just to get back into the movie, I guess, What are you all? So let's talk about some of the characters. What are your opinions on the Ninja Turtles themselves? Like, are there any that you prefer in this movie that
Who's
you
your
don't
favorite
like?
turtle?
Oh shit, man! I think as a kid, I liked Donatello a lot, and then probably Michelangelo. And then as I've gotten older and rewatched the movies, because I've rewatched them all last like at least 5 years. I mean, I still love Michelangelo, but I've come to appreciate all 4 of them. But I think Donatello or Michelangelo are probably my favorites. And then Shredder. I love the bad guy.
Yeah, not Michelangelo. Donatello has always been my favorite turtle, and in this movie, it's pretty much the same. I feel like Leonardo kind of gets put in the background a little bit in this. Like, he's not really a main character, as much as like
he's the leader in the first 2.
He's not
right, but
because his character isn't like solid really.
Yeah, in this, like the 2 turtles that really stand in the forefront of this film are Raphael and Michelangelo.
When Michelangelo has the little fucking he has that little fucking the shorts. He's doing the lion shit.
Yeah,
it was funny as hell. I was watching it because I'm watching the DVD version. I sent my Blu-ray to Owen, which he didn't even fucking use. It will not let you skip this fucking opening sequence of the disc menu, and it shows like long ago these warriors and all this other shit, and then it cuts to an orange tinted version of the scene where he's doing the Hawaiian dance on the shores, like oh, and just fucking busted out laughing. I'm like, hey, it's probably better than the movie we just watched. Well, anyway,
it's funny you talk about Michelangelo. Michelangelo is humorous in some parts, but I cannot stand his voice. Like, I hate that,
I hate Raphael's
California dumb surfer voice that he has. It's just annoying to me. But yeah,
I can see that. Yeah,
I mean,
I can't stand fucking Raphael's voice with the fucking Brooklyn
I think
shit.
This is a different Raphael than the first 2 movies.
Yeah, I can't stand it in this one. It sounds terrible.
It's too much. Like, it's way too. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yoshi.
They said Yoshi. I'm like,
fucking love Yoshi
and
Mario Brothers.
When he said Yoshi, in like the way his like lips form with the terrible animatronics in the head, I mean, it's like, oh gosh.
But my favorite turtle is fucking Raphael. I've always had a thing for like the angrier characters.
Oh, I bet you
like
have.
The grumpy. Yeah, I always like the grumpy. Yeah. I like him feisty.
Angry sick. Come here, Owen.
I like him feisty.
Fuck him in the ass and break his back and make him humble.
I'll fuck you in the ass.
Oh, cheeky baby.
Baby. I think we've done this on the fucking podcast.
Oh, we have definitely.
I mean, we've done it.
Cody's probably cut it, but we've done it.
We've done it multiple times in real life too.
Yeah, I don't think as a kid. Okay, I'm just curious from this aspect. I think I picked them out because I probably liked the color of the ninja mask. As a kid, I wasn't really paying, obviously, attention to character. Yeah. So, I mean, I probably preferred purple over the 4 colors that were of the 4 colors. Purple is what I was preferred because I was a fan of green growing up, and then red. But Raphael was kind of a dick.
Yeah,
that's why I liked him because he was a dick.
But was there? I'm just curious. Was there one that you guys liked? Like, preferred of a color of their mask?
Just I like red too, so it fits with
Raphael.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Cody?
I think I agree. Like, red is probably my favorite, like, of the colors of like mask. But I feel like I've always been drawn to Donatello. As a little kid, it was more about his weapon. I always just liked the fact that he used a staff. And then later on, as I got older and continued to like keep up with Ninja Turtles, it was more about him being like a computer nerd or whatever. So I just sort of related more to him versus the others.
Okay, I see that.
I like how in this movie all just like fucking math shit's just complete bullshit. Take the square circumference.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's funny is I was thinking about about Donatello. I had something that popped in my head that was like, oh, I remember seeing this in the thing. I fucking lost it like completely. Damn. Maybe it'll come back to me. I'll like blurt it out, be like penis. But it was something to do with like the voice actors and stuff like that. No, the censorship. The first movie caught everybody off surprise and is really, I guess, quote unquote, violent for the time.
And they say "damn" in the first movie.
Yeah, no, they do cuss and shit like that. And you see Shredder's face; he actually takes off his face mask. The second movie, And you wouldn't expect Ninja Turtles to be hit by this, but they were hit by the fucking censorship. They couldn't even use their actual weapons in Part 2. Part 3 is a little bit different, but Part 2 they couldn't even use it. So they even censorship. I always when I watch old Friday the 13th movies, they're ripped apart by the censorship. Even fucking Ninja Turtles had that problem.
Wasn't that just like an executive decision in 2 to not have them use their weapons?
No, that was censorship. They couldn't. That was
That's weird.
This was parents getting oh, this is too violent for kids.
Would it not have made the rating they wanted?
You got to remember, Owen. This is the late.
I don't think they were allowed to.
This comes from the late 80s, early 90s, where parents were just
mass hysteria.
Yeah, I mean it was mass hysteria over everything. Mortal Kombat is violent and all this.
Together.
Mortal Kombat's gonna.
Mortal Kombat.
Somebody.
At this point, Mortal Kombat had been out for a year, and Mortal Kombat 2 had come out in '93 when this was out.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's just fucking wild thinking about the time frame, how all this stuff kind of fits. Like what happened? I think Jurassic Park came out in '93, didn't it, or '95?
I thought it was '92 or some shit.
I don't know.
'94.
But sitting there thinking about if Jurassic Park and how awesome that movie looks and how shitty this movie looks.
Yeah.
And they spent the most money on this movie than they did the other two.
Yeah.
It's just wild, man.
Which if we eventually do a Jurassic Park episode, we'll probably have Stephanie on it because that is her favorite movie franchise of all time. Is Jurassic Park.
Hey, she should do a guest little spot on the Twilight episode.
Yeah.
I would love to hear a woman's perspective on why in the fuck do you like this?
Because Robert Pattinson makes my Johnny.
Oh my god! Leave that in, Cody. That was awesome.
But that's also going to be all of us Batman fans when we watch him next year as Batman.
Oh, dude, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, man, I know he's a better actor than this.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why I'm gonna forget the joke until we do the episode. But the part where he looks at Bella and goes, "Hello," and then I just can only think about Channing Tatum in 21 Jump Street. He goes, "My name is Jay."
Yeah, I mean Robert Pattinson. I don't feel like he did a good job in the Twilight movies, but watching some of his later work, especially The Lighthouse, I love The Lighthouse.
Yeah, he's fucking so good in The Lighthouse.
Yeah,
I remember
just seeing the trailer for the Batman. Oh my gosh, which we've talked about it off the podcast before, but the moment in the trailer when he shows up and he just beats the shit out of a guy. And one of the thugs is like, "Who are you?"
Vengeance.
And he's like, "I'm Vengeance." I was like, "Oh yes, fuck yes."
Oh yeah. Isn't there a jerk off scene in the Lighthouse movie?
Yeah, there's multiple, I think.
Yeah, there's a scene where Robert Pattinson's on the roof and
he's underneath Willem Dafoe's character who's beating his meat and he's looking at it through a grate and then some jizz drops down.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and then everything turns into a fucking tentacles and shit.
Yeah,
there's also a fish vagina or shark vagina.
A mermaid vagina.
A mermaid. Yeah. It's pretty dope. You should watch that movie.
I may have to give it a shot. Cody, I know you like to cut out our tangents. I feel like you should leave all these tangents in on this episode.
Teenage Mutant. Yeah, so, we haven't even really talked about.
Yeah, let's get back to the movie. So we talked about the Turtles. We've already kind of discussed how Splinter is just he looks awful.
He looks like
he has girl eyelashes.
He looks like fucking roadkill.
He looks like a Chuck E. Cheese character with the way his mouth moves when he talks.
Ooh, his fingers. His fingers
I just half expect to hear those mechanical clicks as he's moving.
He starts singing Chuck E. Cheese songs and shit.
I'm hoping Cody probably won't be able to in this next week. I'm hoping he'll get a chance to watch one of the other movies just to see how awesome Splinter looks. Because he looks incredible. I have to. And Part 2 is my favorite look of the costumes they did. But he just looks incredible. And as a giant rat can look on screen, it looks perfect.
Yeah, Splinter looks good in the first.
He looks as good as Yoda does in the original trilogy.
Splinter's my balls.
Yeah.
And then they start doing this thing right here. He looks like he's got looks like one of his eyelashes is trying to blink half the time and shit like that.
He straight up looks like fucking roadkill. Hey, did you guys know you can buy Donatello's costume from this movie? But it's all rotten and shit. So he looks like a fucking zombie. It's scary. His teeth are fucking his teeth are out, and his lips are fucking all.
How much is it going for?
It's a couple thousand, I think, or some shit like that.
Oh.
But the front, his cod piece where his shell is, that's gone too, and it looks like he has a cock that's been burnt.
So some of the other characters, just to run through them real quick. I mean, we have April and Casey, which Casey is more like a joke character in this movie. He never fights anybody.
For anybody that's ever watched Chicago PD, the guy, he's always wearing a hat and he has his hair kind of grown out, but the hair on top of his head is like really fucking thin now. That's the dude who plays Casey. I had no idea. I kept thinking, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? He kind of looks like a rip-off Mel Gibson almost. So I just got done watching Lethal Weapon.
Is that guy who meets April in the cage, that's supposed to be like his ancestor or some shit?
Some shit like that.
Okay. Yeah. Is it played by the same actor?
Yeah, it's the same dude.
Okay, I really did not pick up on that.
Yeah, he has, I guess it's a big-ass wig in this movie.
Yeah.
But he's, and then April, the actress that played her in the first movie, didn't return for part 2. But this is the same actress from part 2, so there's a little continuity there. So
yeah, which I thought April was kind of annoying in this. You know, I think
she kind of is.
Watching this movie, I just like, man, the '90s is kind of annoying overall. It just kind of sucks.
Hey, like, wait till the 2000s, baby. Yeah, Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit, it's my biscuit. Who's with me?
Can
I get a witness?
Can I get a witness?
Fucking R&B instruments, fucking musical shit.
I
will
say that the music in this is actually not terrible. I don't think.
Oh God, I can't wait till you watch part 2.
I don't.
The ninja rap Vanilla Ice.
Oh
go
gosh,
ninja,
go ninja,
go. Go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go.
I mean, no soundtrack is ever going to be bad as the Catwoman soundtrack.
Rap. Do what now?
I said no soundtrack is ever going to be as bad as the Catwoman soundtrack.
That is like, isn't that R&B music and shit?
Yeah, it's like early
2000s
R&B music, and all like the vocalist ever says is like, yeah, and let's go. It's like, ooh yeah, let's go. It's just like,
I cannot stand. I was born in fucking the year 2000, and I cannot fucking stand early 2000s R&B music.
Oh, it's so
fucking
dated
everywhere.
It's so dated.
It's so dated, and it was fucking everywhere when you were a kid.
Oh
hey,
yeah.
Quick question. And this is another tangent. We'll get back to Ninja Turtles in a second. Cody.
Yeah.
Do you know why? I'm just curious. I think I've read up on it once. Why in the fuck did they change everything about Selena Kyle's character in that Catwoman movie? She's not even called Selena Kyle, is she?
No, her name's like Patience something. I just watched this movie like a few weeks ago. That's why I remember this. Yeah, her name's like Patience something. They never even say that the city is called Gotham City, and toward the end of the movie, one of them's holding a newspaper, and literally all it says is something along the lines of the late city edition or something, or the original city edition, but it never says the name of the city on the newspaper. So it's like, oh gosh.
So is it kind of like the Venom movie where like Venom's trying to like write Spider-Man out of the origin, and they're just trying to write Batman out of this?
Well, they have a weird explanation, like where there's been multiple Catwomen throughout history, and they're all just kind of chosen.
The title.
And there's a scene in the movie where she goes and meets this woman who's like the keeper of the history of Catwomen, and she has a bunch of photographs of former Catwomen, and Michelle Pfeiffer is actually in one of those photos. So
okay.
I guess the implication is that Gotham City exists outside of the city, and Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was Selena Kyle in that universe. I don't know. That movie's horrible. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, this is recent Cody talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I watched it a few weeks ago. So
it came out like a year before Batman Begins.
It may have been 2 years before, but yeah, it was pretty close. And the reason, I know we're off on a tangent, but the reason
people love this.
The reason they made Catwoman is because, gosh, what were they making? They were going to make a Batman versus Superman movie. And the plans for it fell through, but they still wanted to put something in the release date that they had set for Batman versus Superman. They very quickly threw together a crew and a team and a group of writers and all that to make Catwoman, which is part of the reason why it turned out so horrible.
That makes sense. I was just curious about that movie. I'm like, I just don't understand, like, I mean, the 2000s, they were trying to do, like, this hodgepodge of, like, putting movies together, like Daredevil, then Elektra.
Oh yeah.
And Hulk, and the X-Men movies were by themselves. That was like the only thing that we had of a quote unquote connected universe, and they couldn't even keep their own continuity between movies. Right. They would just throw characters in there just to throw them in there.
Yeah.
Like you see Hank, who's supposed to be Beast in part 2. He's a human. But then in part 3, he's completely blue and all this other shit. It makes no fucking sense.
Oh,
I was just curious about that. That's a little tangent because this has everything to do with Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah, back to
I think Warner Brothers owns Ninja Turtles, though.
So, what?
I think Warner Brothers owns Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah, they do, I think.
I don't...
Because, they were in the Injustice game. They've done this Batman versus the Ninja Turtles shit.
That or Nickelodeon might?
No, Nickelodeon owns them.
Really? So
yeah.
Isn't Nickelodeon owned by Disney?
No.
So Nickelodeon bought Ninja Turtles in like 2015 or 16 or something.
Okay.
So up until that point, I don't know who had the rights to the Ninja Turtles, but yeah, Nickelodeon has owned them for the last 5 years or so.
Who owns Nickelodeon?
Nickelodeon's who owns
Nickelodeon? Is it CBS? No, I don't think it's CBS.
I can look it up. I have my phone right here.
I was just curious about it. So it's his own thing fighting against Disney.
Yeah, they're owned by Viacom CBS.
Oh yeah, they're owned by Viacom. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So there is something else out there fighting. I just don't want Disney owning everything.
It's like Disney, Viacom, and then there's Turner.
Yeah, I don't know about Turner. They put my beloved WCW out of business.
Turner over.
Women Crush Wednesday.
Turner over.
To get through the rest of the cast real quick. There's obviously not much of a really substantial cast in this movie, but there's Walker, who I guess is the antagonist of this movie.
I like in the fucking part where he's like, he looks nothing like Clint Eastwood. Like, shut the fuck up.
Dude. Yeah, I looked this dude up because I'm like, I've seen him in other things before. He's the bad guy in Lethal Weapon 3, Jack Travis. If you Google his character in that movie versus what he looks like in this, it looks absolutely nothing alike. And it's not like he's just wearing a wig in this movie.
Right.
Isn't part of the reason why like everybody hates this movie, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans, is because like the villains have absolutely the fuck all to do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I mean,
well, I think it's that and the costumes looking like shit.
I mean, there's a lot of issues with this movie, which we will get to. But so there's Walker, there's Niles, which is his right hand man, basically.
Niles.
There's
Niles from Frasier. Niles.
There's
talk to Daphne.
Niles Thornberry.
Oh my god! I got somebody at work that sounds like Nigel Thornberry.
The other few characters from the feudal Japan era are Lord Norinaga, who is actually at war with, I guess, a group of rebels. They don't really ever explain what the
red
fuck
one,
they're fighting
green
about.
One, rebel
the
leaders.
setting for this movie is so fucking like terrible cliche like samurai movie.
Oh,
It's so fucking like dumb.
Hey, let's not completely shit on this. I'm pretty sure the first 10 minutes of the new Mortal Kombat movie is in feudal Japan.
Like it's fine to have that setting, but look, it has no fucking like I guess substance.
There's a lamp
in this movie.
That's your substance, the lamp.
It sucks. Fuck that little staff.
I'll show you my staff.
Why she call it an egg beater or an egg timer is what she calls it? What the fuck's that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
There's so many references they're trying to like put it like the whole Clint Eastwood, shit like that. I'm like, oh my god. He's like, make my day. I'm like, oh my god.
One of them just fucking straight up like rips a voice line from Terminator. He's like, I'll be back.
There's also Mitsu, who is the female leader of the rebel group. And Kenshin,
she also started the Me Too movement.
Kenshin is the son of Lord Norinaga, who is in love with Mitsu, and he's the one that gets transported to present day for this movie, 30 years ago now. And then there's Yoshi. Hey, Yoshi! Yoshi! How you doing? You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. Yoshi! Hey, Yoshi! Hey.
I'm fucking walking here.
What does Yoshi eat?
He eats little fruits. Haven't you ever played Super Mario World?
Yeah, I just can't remember. It's been forever. Well, doesn't he can't he just eat something and spit it back out?
Yeah, he can eat like anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boop, boop. I used to fucking get upset when I'd lose him or get him killed by accident.
Fucking scream.
Oh,
yeah, Yoshi, and then of course the turtles. We've already talked about the Leonardo, Michelangelo, the only two actors have been in all three movies.
Right.
Corey Feldman. I don't know, and I don't know who they are. I really don't care who they are right now. We may do another Ninja Turtles movie down the line, and we'll cover it more in detail.
Yeah.
And then Corey Feldman come back, and then Raphael is someone completely different, I believe. And Splinter is definitely somebody different.
Right. Talking about some of the plot elements in this movie, I will say this: when I started watching this movie, like I said, I hadn't seen it in 20 years at least. Starting to watch, it's like, oh, I remember this scene, and it was such a bizarre feeling. Even like in the opening scene, when the samurai are on horseback, and you've got the rising sun in the background, and it was such a bizarre feeling of remembering how I felt watching it as a kid. And basically all of that crumbling away as I watched it as an adult.
That's happened to me on so many fucking things. Usually video games. I'll go back and play them and I'm like, oh dude, I remember this and I remember how I felt, and then I'm like, oh wait, this is shit now.
Yeah, I mean it's such a weird feeling.
Yeah.
I don't think I've technically have had that, because I think my love for the things I loved in my youth, it's this really fucking strong protective barrier that I've put up that nothing can break through, because I try not to. Because there's things I like that are fucking shitty, without a doubt. Like this old fucking wrestling game on Nintendo. It's fucking terrible. I had Cody play. I'm like, dude, this is the greatest game ever. And it's still my favorite game. I know it's shit. The WCW game.
World Championship Wrestling.
I love that fucking thing. But I know it's shitty. But I still consider it like my favorite game of all time, wrestling wise, just because it was my favorite. But yeah, I haven't had anything. Maybe Power Rangers. I've watched some things like from Dragon's Zord, and I'm like, oh, this fucking shit is terrible. As a kid, this was the shit for me.
Right.
I knew the Mortal Kombat movies were cheesy and bad, so that I can protect that from myself.
Even as a kid, I didn't really like the Mortal Kombat movies, though. I don't know.
I can just drown you in this toilet.
Yeah, you could, but
I'm going to.
I don't know if you would.
I will,
because I'm right.
Hey, the first one's really good.
The first one for a video game movie from the 90s.
That's the best video game movie of all time.
Yes, it is good.
Yeah, that's the key. It's the best video game movie from the 90s. Yeah. I think once you get into
I don't think any of the video game movies since then, people still consider it the best one ever made.
Well, I would argue that the first Silent Hill movie is really good. The second Silent Hill movie is a gigantic turd, but the first one is
Silent
pretty
Hill,
solid.
Who stars in that?
In what?
In the Silent Hill movies.
Let me look it up real quick.
Have you guys? I mean, I'm just curious. I've never watched it. You guys watched the Resident Evil movies?
I watched a couple of them. They have absolutely fuck all to do with the games.
Yeah, I've seen the first one.
Right?
They have some characters that are from the game, but it's basically exists as its own thing. The main character in the movie, Alice, is not in any of the games.
Yeah,
period.
she's just a self-insert by the fucking director to see his wife's titties hanging out.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So there's Silent Hill. There's not really anyone. The only famous actor in it is Sean Bean.
Okay.
He's the husband, right?
Yeah, he's Henry. Or no, I guess they call him Christopher Da Silva in the movie, but he's basically Henry from the game.
You mean Harry?
Harry, yeah, sorry.
Get it right, Cody.
I'm so ashamed. That's my favorite franchise ever.
That's right. Feel sad.
So, Cody, would you say? I'm just curious. I'm not, because I don't have any judgment on it because I don't know. Is it pretty accurate towards the video game, or is it something like they kind of changed the character's name?
They changed the characters' names. There's some plot elements that are different.
They kind of combined the first game and the third game a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and they also implement Pyramid Head into it, which he's only in the second. He's only really important in the second game. He doesn't.
But yeah, this had nothing to do with the original developers. So.
No, yeah.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
Well, I was just curious because talking about video games and this movie, a lot of people prefer the Ninja Turtles, the goofy Ninja Turtles, the fun stuff from the cartoon and from the second movie and the third movie. the first movie was really true to the source material because it's more adult-oriented comics that they came from.
Well, yeah, Eastman
80s.
and Laird, apparently, they were the ones that worked
Those are the
directly
guys.
with them, right?
Yeah, those are the guys. I was looking up some facts on the part 2 because I was doing my own little research, and I kept seeing those names. They didn't want in the Ninja Turtles 2 movie Bebop and Rocksteady to be in them, so they had to make new characters. So they made a snapping turtle and a big wolf, and it's Toka and Razor. And so they're still kind of the goofy but strong henchmen.
Right.
But so Bebop and Rocksteady would have been in part 2, just like it was in the cartoon series. But I think it kind of bothers them because this is what they created in the comic wise. But what it's turned into is nothing like the comics were.
Yeah.
And the Mortal Kombat movie is coming out in April. Everything seems to be pretty accurate. Like Sub-Zero and Scorpion are actually like 400 years old, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, Katana's 10,000. Yeah. But they did make a new character specifically for the movie. He's an MMA fighter, and he's got to figure out how to save the world. And he's pretty much like Johnny Cage, but with a different name. But the writer of the movie said that he would have Johnny Cage fans surprised. So hopefully Johnny's in it.
Johnny Cage.
But so I was just curious, like talking about the Resident Evil adding the character. That's what they've done with this movie.
Well, in fucking the Resident Evil movies, they have one movie where like some of the characters from the game show up, and then they just kill them all.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Well, like, Hollywood just can't get it right when it comes to adapting this shit. Like, we gotta make it into this fucking trope that we've done for the last X amount of years.
Yeah,
it's because most directors and shit haven't played the games and they don't care.
It's
just like a paycheck.
I mean, you look at like something like Max Payne, the Max Payne movie starring Mike Wahlberg.
That movie's fucking garbage.
That movie is awful. It's like nothing to do with the game, and they even said like they didn't do any sort of research into the game's plot at all.
Oh my god, they admitted that?
Yeah, they admitted it.
I mean, yeah, you'll be surprised how much, like, especially in like the early 2000s, and like the 90s, how little directors gave a fuck about like video game source material
and my generation.
It's like they were handed pictures of what the characters look like. It's like, I could come up with something for this.
Yeah, it's so funny because like Max Payne 1 and 2 like have like really good fucking stories too.
Yeah, they're like very gritty, like noir detective stories.
Yeah, and then the movie's just like, shit.
So to get back to the
thing about this,
go
this
ahead,
movie though, Ninja Turtles, I think why. I mean, I don't want to say hate because I did watch Twilight before this. The reason why I dislike this movie as much as I do because there's no Foot Clan. There's nothing to do with Splinter. Splinter. Shredder got killed. It felt like an episode of a TV show.
Right.
It didn't feel like a fucking movie. The production looked like shit. Obviously, we bashed it to Kingdom Come at this point. But this thing felt like an extended Power Rangers episode almost instead of a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Where the first two actually felt like movies. Like it felt like its own adventure. This thing felt like, we'll see you next week on Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
but there was no.
Yeah, it's because like the story has so little to. It's a perfect fucking like TV plot in that like the characters go off to like somewhere. Well, they'll never come back again, and they do shit. And they'll never see those other characters again, and it doesn't fucking matter, and shit's back to square one at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Right, and
the Ninja Turtles, like the Foot Clan's the bad guys.
Yeah,
and, Shredder.
And in this, it's just completely made up. We're traveling back in time and fighting samurai, and here's a bunch of antagonists that you've never heard of before. And don't even resemble what a typical Ninja Turtle villain would look like. They're just normal people.
Yeah, and the antagonists are so like shittily uninteresting and like
cliche. It's horrible.
It's a bad warlord buying guns or weapons from another
evil British merchant guy
and shit like that. I'm like, good god, dude! And the fucking tunnel that they live in. They live in an old train underneath the tunnel technically in the sewers anymore. And they discover this place in part 2. It looks like shit in this movie. Because in part 2, it looks fucking cool. It's like spider webs everywhere, and they get it cleaned up. It has like an orange overlight in part 2, like where they live at. Now it's all like fucking bright and just ugly as hell. I'm like, this does not look like the same fucking.
It looked more like a fucking like studio apartment.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't want to. We kind of talked about on the Godfather episode. We're not going to kind of go beat for beat through the plot, but I do want to do a broad overview of it, sort of, just to kind of like guide us through what happens in this movie. In the beginning, you have all that stuff where you're being introduced to the Turtles, and the first thing is just this cheesy, awful introduction to the Turtles where they're all coming out and doing like martial arts moves, and they are just so bad. I mean, when Leonardo first walks out with his swords, it's just like he's just kind of like hacking in the air without any kind of real purpose, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like, you guys go out there and fucking make these characters look cool to the kids.
Yeah.
It's like the instructions before they said action.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. And
is that the first time we see them fight, or the introduction?
No, the introduction when the music's playing and they all come out with
I thought they were just
flips
dancing.
They were dancing, but they were also doing the little ninja moves.
Oh, they were like play fighting and shit.
Yeah.
Playing fighting with their dicks.
It's kind of a dumb reveal because like the first two movies had like better reveals of the characters. That they like built it up a little bit. The entire opening to this movie is kind of shit because it's like you're spending like, I just watched the AVGN review, so I'm taking some of his shit from this, but
you didn't watch the movie though.
I did watch the movie.
I think you're lying.
But in the
you're
fucking in the
you're
opening,
a guest star now.
Okay.
But Owen goes, "You come over to my house and you kick me off the podcast,
and you disrespect me like this in front of Yoshi."
Hi, Yoshi.
But the fucking opening is just like has nothing to do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just some like historical like Japanese like, and I mean feudal Japan is a cool setting, but like they don't do it any justice in this movie.
Oh yeah,
and it's weird that you're saying that because I'm sitting there thinking like it just randomly goes to like 1605 feudal Japan.
Then they just fucking like there's just a train.
And then it shows it, and then for some reason they're holding the lamps. There's like no context. It's not like they saw like something of history from Japan. It's just like, look at this cool lamp, and she's like, whoa.
Well, the lamp she got at a flea market. She brings it to him. She's like, I got y'all gifts from the flea market because she's a cheap ass. And then she's like,
I was thinking that too.
I got you some fish pellets.
It's like she walks in. She's like, I got these new sunglasses and this fancy leather jacket, but here's some trash from the flea market.
I sat there when Owen was talking about, like, I wish I had a Sub-Zero Scorpion toy. I actually thought, I could probably find him a Sub-Zero toy and buy it off Amazon for him. She's like, here's a fucking hat for you. I got it at the flea market. What a friend.
And a lampshade. It's like, what the fuck do I need a lampshade for?
Fucking Michelangelo wears a lampshade, too. He's like, Elvis.
And then, like, she goes to give the scepter or whatever to Master Splinter, which I do want to bring up a piece of trivia about this movie. Some DVD and Blu-ray cases of this movie, on the front on the case, there's the turtles and they're holding the scepter, right? On some covers of the movie, they have a sword instead because the original plot of the movie was going to revolve around a magical sword and not the scepter.
That's cooler than fucking
this fucking lamp that they tore off a post downtown.
Yeah. It doesn't even look really all that like ancient fucking Japanese. But it just looks like a street lamp or some shit.
Yeah, and talking about the lamp, it brings me to like my major issue with this movie. You go back in time and Kenshin gets brought back to the palace or whatever, and he finds the lamp and he picks it up and it starts spinning to send him through time. It's like, but it happens to send him to the moment that the turtles are holding it or that April's holding it. Why wouldn't it send him to any other point in history where someone else is holding the lamp?
Yeah, it sends him in place for the like fucking flea market owner.
Just
runs the flea market.
I was thinking about that. I was like, what made it specifically come to this moment in time? It didn't make any sense.
There was one funny line.
It's because of the turtles and that little fucking shitty drawing that makes me laugh every time they show
up. I like how like later on we'll have to get to that part. But the one thing is when they transfer, when he's in her place at that point and they're wearing each other's clothes, Michelangelo goes, "She's a man."
Yeah.
And I just busted out laughing.
That was kind of funny.
She's a man.
About the clothes thing, it made me laugh when Shredder was like, or not Shredder, Splinter was like, they were like, should we wear clothes so that the guys aren't naked?
No time.
And Splinter was like, no, I want to see them naked. He's like. They like fucking. What if like Splinter like had them all chained up while he was like trying to fucking like send them away? Like he had them like bound and shit, and he was like, Master Splinter, why are we bound and gagged while we're...
I think Owen's very BDSM.
Hold on, wait. Master Splinter, why are we bound and gagged while we're going to be transported to Japan? And Splinter's like, in case the people who are teleported back are violent. It's like, okay, Splinter, but why do we have to wear assless chaps and nipple tassels? He's like, too much, there's no time, go.
The funny thing is you actually do a better job at Splinter's voice than this actor does.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, wow, that's like, someone needs to pay Owen right now.
It's a talent.
Yeah.
But they did that little, and the funny thing is what I don't understand is like, it's so fucking quick. They do somebody has to be the same weight as us for us to go back in time. And
it makes no fucking sense.
They're like, wait, so 4 people are holding it. Everybody hold it. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, if you look
When
at
they go back in
these
time.
fucking turtles, like, how much do you think they weigh? They
probably
probably weigh like
300
500 pounds, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and hey, if you think about this, Kate, the 4 people are holding the lamp, right?
Yeah.
For them to switch places with them, they're all holding the lamp. They switch places with them. They're wearing, obviously, their little fucking, like, bikinis or whatever. The turtles are in armor riding horses. So you had 4 fucking retards riding horses holding the fucking lamp, if you think about it.
Why is one of them backwards on the horse? Okay, so it tells...
It's Michael because he's a goofy one.
But that implies that fucking one of the honor guard guys were backwards on the horse. He was just riding the fucking horse backwards.
It's like, charge!
so backing
I
up,
hold silver
backing up
away.
a little bit, when they go and they capture, God, what is his name? The Kenshin. When they capture Kenshin and before they bring him back to the palace, did anyone notice how terrible the choreography was? Like when they were on on horseback and they were fighting with the swords.
Yes, the way they fucking, it looks like they're just like, stop.
Yeah, it's so bad.
He just like gingerly grabs the horse's reins and is like, I guess you're my prisoner now.
It's like I was thinking, can you not just jump off and run into the forest? Like, what? Oh, gosh,
it's rough, man. There's a running joke. I know they do it in part 2, and they may have done it in part 1 when the guy, I can't remember his name. What's his name? The one that goes back in time.
Kenshin,
like Kenshi from Mortal Kombat.
I think his name's Kenshin.
Kenshin, yeah.
When he sees Splinter and Splinter goes, Japanese on him, he faints. In part 2, the pizza boy who takes the place like pretty much Casey Jones in the movie, he sees the turtles. He goes, "What? You guys are like turtles?" They're like, "Yeah, man." And then Splinter goes, "Rest easy, my son." And then he goes around, looks at Splinter, and he goes, he just passes out. So it's like a little running joke. And they go, "You do that a lot, Mr. Splinter."
Big fucking rat.
But Splinter is so stupid as he goes, "Out cold." And it's like, dude, you're not supposed to be making jokes.
Yeah, he has some really shitty lines in this movie. He seems so stupid.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell this movie was like fucking quickly written.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
Yeah, so after this, we talked about how they go back as samurai and all that, and one of them is for some reason backwards on the horse, and but then like in the present day, you have.
Sorry.
What was funny about that?
I was just thinking about the line that I think Donatello says when they fall in that pond. He goes, "I think I just swallowed a frog. I hope that's not my ancestor."
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
How can a frog can't fuck a turtle? One's a fucking reptile, the other's a fucking amphibian, okay?
I know, it's fucking great, though.
Yeah.
I was just like, hope it's not an ancestor. And they're like, well, he says, how could this get any worse? I just swallowed a turtle. A frog. God, it was so funny. I just remember thinking about that and laughing. Like, that makes no sense, but I love it.
So, like, back in the present, they have the
Owen's
honor
pissed.
guards. Casey shows them hockey or whatever on TV.
Oh, my God, that was good.
And
he's like, dude, it's like on TV, and they just fight each other. He goes, I can live with this.
I just thought that everything in the present day, after the Turtles go back in time, is extremely cheesy. And I understand it's a kids' movies in the 90s, but I mean, it's like way too corny.
But I
watch the second movie.
hey, we're gonna fight because this movie's fucking terrible. This is like this is the best example. The RoboCop movies.
They're all shit after the first.
After the first 2, like RoboCop 3 is terrible. They have a different guy playing RoboCop.
Yeah.
So this is the RoboCop 3.
Isn't that good either though.
I mean, I like Kane. That was a cool villain. But it's still Peter Weller playing the character.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, that's not what's important to me about RoboCop. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's cool that he is.
They're alive. You're coming with me. I like. Oh, this is a tangent again.
Dead or
I like
alive,
on
you're
part
coming
2
in me.
that he has some kind of like passing by with his wife.
Yeah.
But he gives his wife closure in that. She goes, "You are Murphy." He goes, "Ma'am, your husband's dead," or something like that. And she goes off and starts crying, and then you don't see his wife again. So he kind of gives his wife closure. You don't see his kid anymore, but he's still haunted by the memories of his wife and kid. But he gave her closure in that. Of course, I mean, Kane fucking just looked cool as shit. And I liked how his fucking face opened up and had the computer screen with his face on it and shit like that. I love RoboCop. RoboCop's fucking
RoboCop
cool.
is cool.
The first one's so fucking good. It
I love
really
that
is.
fucking movie so
Just
much.
like the first Ninja Turtles, and then like I said, this one sucks like part 3. Always the part 3 suck, except for Return of the Jedi. Don't make an Ewok joke, Owen. Hey, look, I love the Java dance. Music.
I think the Return of the Jedi is the weakest of the. I mean, this isn't related to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, it's related because part 3's kind of suck.
Yeah.
I mean, Cody completely ruined Godfather 3 for me just by telling me the title.
Yeah, Godfather 3 sucks too.
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3 sucks.
Okay, look,
Please,
let's go ahead and give Topher Grace
please,
some
Lord,
props for playing
kill Peter
Venom.
Parker.
Oh my God,
Penis.
I'm gonna have to go on a fucking tangent with that.
Love that.
Okay, look, real quick, 10 seconds. Eddie Brock goes to the church in the comic books to pray for forgiveness because he's about to commit suicide. And then the symbiote senses his hatred and he bonds with him. In this fucking movie, Sam Raimi goes, "Hey, let's just make him a complete bad guy. Have him pray to God to kill somebody." How fucking stupid is that?
Yeah. Well,
they did it better in This Is the End when Jonah Hill goes, "Hey, God, could you get rid of..." I can't remember the guy's Jay Beaumichel. I can't remember that dude's name. He's like, "That'd be pretty tight." He's like praying to him. Have you seen This Is the End?
No.
Yeah, it's all those guys from Seth Rogen and them, but it's their real life characters. It's pretty fucking funny. But Jonah Hill's like, "Hey, could you kill this guy?" "Thanks, God, that'd be pretty tight." And it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
So they did it better than that. But yeah, I mean, going back to this from the side street I turned on.
So the plot from this point they all escape, they find the rebels and all that, and the rebels are attacked, and Raphael saves Yoshi, which
Yeah. But actually, Raphael doesn't save Yoshi, isn't it? It's Michelangelo, and then Donatello gives him a little kiss.
No, it's Leonardo that gives him.
Sorry.
No, you're right. My bad. Because
Donatello goes in, and then
Michelangelo goes in.
And
then Donatello tries to give him mouth to mouth, like, "Oh, get that key."
No, it is definitely Leonardo. You were right. It's Michelangelo who goes in, and then Leonardo's the one who's like, "Stop kissing my son! Stop it!"
He's gonna make him. I'm not gonna make a joke. I'm done.
He's gonna make him famous in Hollywood.
But yeah, it was like I said, everything. And then did anybody else notice that the granddad of the village looked like Shang Tsung old from the first Mortal Kombat game?
Oh yeah, he kind of does.
He's just an old Asian man.
Yeah, no, Shang Tsung's supposed to be Chinese. He's Japanese. It don't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really fucking weird. They have these little showers with bamboo sticks around them, and April goes to wash her hair, and then Casey's ancestors like, "Take me with you."
He's like, "Let me see them titties, baby."
I was just like, why the hell is she going underneath this thing to wash her hair with her clothes on?
Doesn't she put it on doesn't she get the water to drip onto her chest and shit too?
I don't think she meant to, but yeah, I think it did.
Hot.
But yeah, this the movie cuts in and out between present day. Casey's trying to keep the guys from I guess leaving, so in case they have to send them back immediately, they're there. But he takes them to some bar, which is actually kind of funny. And but they're going back and forth, and like I said, the story it moves by fast. But I kept looking at the fucking timer on the DVD player, okay, how much fucking longer is this movie?
Yeah, that's sort of what I was doing. I was watching it on HBO Max, and I would pause it and be like, "Oh fuck, there's another hour left of this." And it's
it feels so long.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this has to be almost over. Oh no, there's 30 minutes left. It's like, damn.
I did miss some things. I was washing clothes, put them in the dryer.
I did. I almost fell asleep during the battle.
I pinched one off.
Yeah,
I will admit, I fell asleep for a few minutes. I fell asleep during like the part where Michelangelo like shows them about pizza or whatever.
Frisbee.
Because when the movie finished, I was confused. I was like, I thought there was a pizza scene in this, but you know,
there was the one part when when they made the plan, they were gonna make a new lamp, and April's like, "You guys aren't. This plan is insane. You guys aren't gonna sit there and make a new lamp, are you?" They're like, "No." This guy is, and it's some dude fucking making swords and shit.
Do you notice how like they fucked up that little picture that they drew? There's like a big ass hole in it. Like,
yeah, I know, yeah.
And then they eventually dropped that replica lamp down a sewer or something, down a giant hole of some kind.
But it turns out they were hiding it the whole time. It's fucking
Yoshi goes and gets it. He's like, Yoshi! And brings it to him.
Wahoo! Wahoo!
And then this old man runs in. He's like, please, I need you to fight for us. It's like, ugh.
He's like, shut up.
And then there was a scene where Yoshi jumped on one of the turtles, and he goes, "My turn."
He's like, shut up, you old bitch. I'm getting out of here.
I don't even fucking know you, dude.
Get out of here.
What scene was that? What now?
We're talking about the scene where the old guy's like, I hid.
Yeah. I literally haven't had any reaction with you, dude. Yeah, I see what you're saying. What the fuck, man? Like I said, I'm just watching this. I'm like, golly damn, this is like if I put a movie together.
It's like, why did the Ninja Turtles fucking even care about this stupid like Japanese fucking village? They don't know anybody fucking here.
Because they're heroes, dude, and that's what heroes do.
Yeah,
well,
and
that shit.
That's the Chad Kroger song with Joseph Scott.
Isn't the basic rule of time travel not to like mess with the events of the past or whatever?
Yeah. Well, I guess they were prophesized from their shitty little drawing.
Do you guys realize also like nothing that they did, it was going to affect the future and all that shit like that?
Yeah.
But let's say like it was funny, like one of the Japanese guys wanted to take a TV with him. He goes, no, I'll keep this on layaway with you, is what Casey said. There's a couple things I laughed at. Yeah. But I mean, going back to the hero thing, Cody.
You talk about like nothing they do in the past affecting the future, and you're spot on, because like even the war that's going on is so pointless. It all revolves around these rebels, but in the end, it's like the only thing I could gather was that like, the prince was in love with one of the rebels.
Why is the Shogun guy or the Daimyo? Why is he bad? Like what did he do?
He's not bad, but he got his ponytail cut and he had like fucking crazy hair after.
Like, why do those villagers hate him?
Right, like
because he has a nice place and they live on bamboo.
Yeah,
it never gives context for anything that's happening, and then at the end, they give him the scepter back or whatever, and
everything's better.
They have their little moment of being like, "Oh, finally, our romance can live." It's like,
and they kiss underneath a red light. What the fuck? Owen looked at me and gave me a kiss. I'm like, "Wow, that's hot." Remember that when he leans her down to kiss her, the light goes red. Like,
yeah.
Well, this looks like something on our Broadway play, but this wouldn't be Broadway. This would be like Clarksville High.
It signifies the red light district.
You don't have to. Put on the
my
red
God!
light.
It all makes sense.
That's what the rebels are really about.
Well, they were walking in like the little fucking one-piece underwear that was covering their chest and their balls for some reason, and it was like a thong in the back.
It was nice.
I'll guarantee you, Ed Boon and like fucking John Tobias are looking at it. It's like, we can make the girls wear that in Mortal Kombat.
What if it cut to like? What if it cut to?
Shiva could wear that. They wear shit that Shiva wears in Mortal Kombat 3.
Shiva does wear that. What if it cut to Splinter after they came in and he's like rubbing his hands together? His nasty animatronic hands. He's like, "While the turtles are away, the rat will play."
Oh my God!
And as he's rubbing his hands together, you see
and you also see his tail like whipping ferociously, like. Psh, psh, psh. He's getting really excited. There was one scene when you see Wit, which is Casey's ancestor, where April goes, "Casey?" And he just looks at her weird, and then she looks down and sees a rat. She goes, "Yeah, I recognize you too." I'm like, that's so stupid, but I still laughed at it.
It's so dumb. I really do wish that I could have enjoyed this movie.
Did be made.
I just, I knew going into it that it was going to not hold up to my nostalgia, but I just really wish it would have done better for me than it did.
Hey, let's go ahead and do real quick. I give myself some props. When Cody picked this movie, Owen will agree with me. I fought against it. Like, no, man, pick something else. I promise you. I watched Instant Minutes. I'm sorry for making fun of that movie and all this other shit. And Cody's like, and then I remember I was texting Cody as I was watching the movie. which took me twice as long as I kept pausing the movie. I'm like, fuck, how do I get through this? And I kept texting Cody, I'm like, Cody, you gotta watch these other two. And Cody sent me a message that said, okay, LOL. But I read it like, okay, like he didn't understand why I was so upset. And then he says, guys, I'm 10 minutes into it. I'm so sorry. Like he understood. Like he thought I was being a drama bitch or drama queen about it. And he understood 100% is what it felt like.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that, like I said, my nostalgia for it was so strong, and I hadn't seen it in so long that...
And I don't think I hate it as much as you guys do.
To me, I thought it would be an enjoyable, like a good bad movie, but it's a bad movie.
It's not even really...
Nah, it is rough. I still laughed at it. I mean, I still like,
I think it's not like terrible in my opinion. Like you can like idly watch it if you're fucking like, I don't know, doing something. You can have it on in the background.
A child would enjoy the movie.
Yeah, a child would enjoy the movie, and if you had it on in the background, it would be that bad.
Yeah. And the thing is, it does make me want to watch the first two again, so it does bring me back that nostalgia. So there is a positive effect from the movie.
I think that's a negative for the movie, though. If the movie makes you want to watch another movie, that's a negative.
But it
depends.
Like, I want to watch Titanic after watching this. That would be a negative because Titanic's boring.
But you're like, I'd rather watch a better movie, though.
Yeah, but it's also like I also want to revisit my childhood and rewatch all this shit.
I mean, you know
what I'm saying? Like, if it, I don't know when's the next time would have been. I would have picked up Ninja Turtles if Cody hadn't suggested this movie, to be quite honest.
Yeah, which
I love Ninja Turtles, but it's been a long time since I loved it that much.
Yeah, which I was going to say, I did, because, I told you guys I went ahead and picked all the movies I wanted to do for the year, and I did pick the first Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movie to be done in August.
We have to watch that shit, Cody. What the fuck? Next you're going to be like, we have to watch fucking Transformers 5.
Oh, God, no.
No, we're going to be watching the dude.
Hey, I think I found a Transformer. It's like, oh, God, shut up, Mark Wahlberg.
The only part I fucking remember about any of the Transformers movies is when the guy's, like, in his kitchen and his grandma's yelling at him, and he's like, shut up, Grandma! Drink your prune juice!
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you eat your dessert if you had no supper? I don't know, I went Pink Floyd there. But here's the bit. Go ahead, Cody.
Talking about just real quick about the Transformers movies, I will say the only one of them that is genuinely a good movie is Bumblebee. Like, that movie is actually a good movie.
How did you watch it? You couldn't see John Cena.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I don't know. I thought it was weird that Haley Steinfeld was talking to nobody in some scenes, but.
Okay, got you. Well, she is pretty hot.
But yeah, and if it wasn't for Shia LaBeouf in the first few movies, those movies would probably not be very watchable.
And Megan Fox's weird fucking thumbs.
Yeah, poor girl. Okay, they end up getting the scepter back. They give it to the Japanese warlord or whatever the fuck he is. Everybody gets back to where they're supposed to be, which doesn't make much sense.
Can we talk about when the English guy dies and he falls off the cliff? And
that looks pretty bad, too.
Yeah. Dude, if you look closely, like, he doesn't make, like, a water splash. He just, like, fucking the green screen just envelops him.
Yeah.
Like, he just, like, clips through the fucking ocean and disappears.
Like I said, I swear, dude, this is, like, it has the quality of, like, the old, not fucking Ninja Turtles, Power Ranger shit.
Yeah,
it really does.
But it's a fucking like $1 million fucking movie. Dude.
I know. You think I'm like, what did you spend the money on? I see everybody having like pizza parties. Like, we gotta get inspiration, guys.
Bro. Yeah.
It's so disappointing. Thinking like, I mean, by this point, '93, I think the Ninja Turtle craze had kind of died down because it was like mid to late '80s when it really went on fire.
Yeah.
The cartoon started in like '87.
It's weird that they took so long to make the fucking movies.
Yeah, they always do that though. Like when something's got a major craze, like Angry Birds. Like everybody loved that fucking game. And they made like 3 years later, they made a fucking movie for it.
They made a movie, and everybody's like, "Angry Birds fucking sucks."
So no one plays this shit anymore. It's like fidget spinners. They made a movie about fidget spinners. It's called Bumblebee.
Yeah,
that thing was only popular for like 6 months.
Well, I guess we'll get to a recommendation point, which I don't think it'll be any surprise what anyone's going to say, but
I think there will be.
I strongly
challenge me, Cody.
Do not recommend this movie.
Are we doing it now?
In my personal opinion, it is a waste of time. Like Lance already said, I apologized when I was only just a few minutes into the movie for having them watch this
Cody,
atrocity.
Cody, what was the what set you off to be like, I'm sorry about this movie? Like, what exactly
What
happened?
scene?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think it was when April went back in time at first, and
She's
she
a
had
man.
like the Walkman, and they all like started
They cut
attacking
it up.
it, and I just like
I
and
shrunk
then, like
4 men
you know,
and
I'm
put them in
saying
that
like
box.
how the '90s suck because like a lot of her speaking is all '90s slang, you know.
She's like, yo, man, just chill out, bro.
And I was just like, oh gosh, this is horrible.
The funniest thing about that scene is how fucking long it is. They're just looking at that Walkman for like 10 years.
Yeah. What about you, Lance? Do you recommend this movie?
Well,
Yes.
it's better watch. It's a better watch than RoboCop 3. It is better than probably Hellraiser 3. Owen just nodded that. That's pretty funny. No, I'm just kidding. I can't. I recommend people go watch the first two. You don't. This is kind of a waste of time. I really hate shitting on something that's close to my heart when it comes to my childhood like this. Because they usually just say, well, watch it once for completion's sake. The first two is all you need. And this one right here, yeah, it really falls short. It's like a really bad Power Rangers movie. Yeah. Like they spent the money on producer salaries or some shit, and everybody else just got, like, Corey Feldman got $1,500 to do a voice. Like, come on, dude.
It was all spent on blow and vacation.
I mean, probably just blow. Blow's expensive. But, yeah, I just, man, I can't do it to people. I feel bad. I want to like this movie. I'll still say, I mean, I'll give the movie 1.5 stars out of 5, and that's more than Twilight on my grading scale. So it's better than Twilight.
Better love story.
If your girlfriend goes, I really like Twilight, and I feel a little nostalgia, let's watch this. You be like, no, baby, I got something better. Let's watch Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time. And she'd be like, this is why we get married, right? Like, yeah, baby.
Then she never has sex with you ever again.
No, she's really offended because she wanted to see Robert Pattinson look fucking, I don't know.
Sparkly.
Oh, my God. Okay, I'm going to save that for that episode.
Yeah, save it.
It's not even sparkly. He looks like, and she's like, you're beautiful. I'm like, oh, give me Ninja Turtles 3.
I love your glitter.
Yeah. Okay, okay, look, I don't recommend this movie on a normal day, but if you have the choice between this and Twilight, I recommend this movie.
In that specific scenario.
Yes, that specific scenario, I suggest this movie and this movie over RoboCop 3 as well. And Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I'd watch this over Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Dead or alive, you're coming inside of me.
Buddy. Whoa, buddy. Owen, what are your recommendations of this movie?
I don't know. There's so many better movies to watch, so just fucking watch.
Is it better than Godfather 3?
You could probably walk to the bargain bin at Walmart and just randomly shove your hand in it. And
okay, hey, real quick.
Hold on, wait. Lance, you know what? I think I would rather watch this movie than Godfather 3.
Okay, hey, I have a real quick game. Okay, in Gorley and Rust, when they watch a movie now, let's say they're watching Freddy Krueger Part 4, they judge it now with other Part 4s they've watched, like Halloween 4, Friday the 13th Part 4, whatever, and they're in the Alien movies. So how about this? What Part 3s would you watch over this movie that you can think of, and what Part 3s would you rather not watch and watch this movie?
I'd rather watch Alien 3 over this movie.
Okay.
That's the prison one, right?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the movies.
Yeah, Alien 3 is okay.
Godfather 3?
I'd have to say I'd probably rather watch this one over Godfather 3 just because fucking who directed Coppola's fucking daughter's like fucking acting is awful in Godfather 3.
What about RoboCop 3?
I'd rather watch this.
What about Halloween 3?
Definitely Halloween 3.
Yeah, no, I definitely would rather watch fucking Halloween 3. Jesus.
How about the Amityville Horror 3?
I've never seen that.
So you'd have to say this, probably.
No.
He's like, nah. What about Return of the Jedi?
I'd rather watch Return of the Jedi.
What about Revenge of the Sith?
I'd rather watch Revenge of the Sith, actually, honestly.
What about Rise of Skywalker?
I've actually never seen Rise of Skywalker, so
it's not bad. Like, really hates it. What about Spider-Man 3?
I'd rather watch this.
Okay. All right, now Cody, I'm gonna go to you.
I was actually gonna say I would rather watch Spider-Man 3 but I would watch this over 50 Shades Freed.
The dumbest thing about the 50 Shades movies is like they don't actually fuck. So I mean, it's just fake fucking. So
Yeah, I know.
what's the point?
So Cody, what about other threes that you've watched though?
That I would watch over this?
That you would watch over this, or maybe you would watch this over those movies?
I was going to say the only
What
other
about
one
Twilight
I could think
Part
of
3?
that I'd watch this over.
Well, Twilight 3.
Yeah, I was going to say Twilight Eclipse, probably.
You would watch it or watch this over that?
I would watch this over that.
I love that.
And then as far as everything else,
What about Psycho 3?
I'd probably watch any other Part 3 over this.
What about Psycho 3?
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious. I'm trying to throw one like really fucking off the wall.
What about Jurassic Park 3?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I actually don't think Jurassic Park 3 is as bad as people like to make it out.
You don't like the you like the
Yeah, the phone call.
When I was a kid, Jurassic Park 3 was I think my favorite.
What about The Purge 3?
Which one was The Purge 3?
I think it's the prequel Purge they did.
I think that's the fourth one, isn't it?
No, it might be. What about Saw 3? Would you watch Saw 3 or this?
Oh, yes. I actually really like Saw 3 a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, this Part 3, I would watch it over RoboCop 3. I'd watch it over. Damn, man, I might have to watch it over Revenge of the Sith. That movie ain't worth sitting through. Not to be mean, I mean, the Darth Vader shit's good, but I'm not watching 2 hours just to get the Darth Vader going. Where's Padme? Is she all right?
Let me think.
And then Obi-Wan Kenobi holding his hand up to a photograph of Padme instead of her actual body.
Hey, the third Predator movie, which is technically Alien versus Predator, would you watch that or this one?
Ooh.
I would rather watch this movie than.
I think I'd
Aliens
probably
versus
watch
Predator.
this, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the first Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, I still probably would watch this over.
Okay, I just want to make sure you said Aliens versus. I think you said Part 2.
I don't know. Aliens versus Predator is just so schlocky.
But the Predator, which came out in 2018, is technically the third only Predator movie.
Yeah.
Well, they had Predators.
I saw that in theater.
Which one? The Predator?
The reboot Predator, just the singular. Or no, I watched Predators where they're on the planet.
Uh-huh.
That's the one I saw.
I would watch Predators over this, but I would watch this over the Predator that came out like 3 years ago now.
I didn't like how Predators was like, it's just the fucking first movie, but there's more Predators.
Yeah, but if you watch the Predator, the one that Shane Black did,
yeah.
Oh my god, it's fucking. I mean, they have a CGI. He's like an 8-foot predator. He's like CGI, and he looks fake as hell. He looks worse than the fucking green screen that he fell in the water on. I swear to God. I mean, I will fucking suggest that movie so you guys know I'm not lying. But yeah, I mean, that was just a fun little thing. You know, this movie, 1.5 stars out of 5. I wouldn't recommend it, and none of us would recommend it.
Yeah, none of us would.
But it's disappointing just because this was until 2007. It took them 14 years to make another film.
How do you feel about the 2007 one, Lance?
I remember liking it as a kid because they hinted at Shredder coming back at the end.
Oh.
But I don't remember much of it. I have them all on Blu-ray. I should watch them, but I don't remember much of it.
I thought it was okay. Last time I watched it was probably 2010 or some shit, but I thought it was okay overall.
I haven't watched the Michael Bay ones, which I'm just curious because, I mean, I try not to think of it being Michael Bay. It's like, it's Ninja Turtles. I try to take that shit out of it.
But yeah, he just produced it. I mean, it's a
he also
director.
produced the Friday the 13th remake, and I really like that movie. But it's kind of like a greatest hits. But yeah, this movie, it's just disappointing, seeing the height that the Turtles had and the popularity, and this was kind of like the death blow almost, like for like the mainstream popularity. Because something hits mainstream and it's there for a couple years, and that's what Turtles were from like the late '80s into the '90s. But this was like the final, like, oh my God, don't go towards the light. Oh, you're already in the light. Sorry, type of deal. But
well,
yeah, that was a fun. I mean, it was fun. I still enjoyed covering it though.
Yeah. And I guess our next movie is going to be Psycho 2.
Starring the incomparable Anthony Perkins.
Yes. Yeah. And like I said, we've
all seen that movie before, right? Psycho 2?
Yeah.
I had you watch it. I had Cody watch it a couple years ago. Psycho 2.
Yeah. And then it'll be Owen's movie whenever he ends up picking.
I was thinking about doing Scarface.
Oh.
Because Lance has never seen Scarface.
Real quick. Where would you rank Ninja Turtles 3 with The Last Jedi? 1 and 2.
I would put Last Jedi over this.
You son of a bitch.
Okay, what was the question again?
If you had to rank them 1 and 2, Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time,
Or The Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi.
This would be higher than The Last Jedi.
Yes! I love the controversy.
This Last Jedi is so fucking, like, soul. It's like, has no soul.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Don't talk shit about The Last Jedi.
No. You can talk shit. I totally get it. I watched it. I'm more neutral on it now than like the visceral hate that I had of it.
Yeah.
But I watched it. I'm just like, okay. The thing is, if you watch the new Star Wars trilogy and you take out the drama, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch these fucking movies. I'm not gonna say, okay, JJ did this movie, Ryan did that.
But that's what I did. I watched it when it was fucking pop. Like when The Last Jedi came out, you remember everyone was sucking it off.
Yeah.
It was like, it's a return to form. It's like the originals.
Yeah.
I watched it during that like zeitgeist when everyone was thinking that.
That's a big word.
Yeah,
Can you spell
it? Z. Maybe it's I before E.
ZEITGEI.
Well, no, but this is German. It's a German word. Okay, Cody got it. So just if you could while you're editing this, just take you saying it and then putting it over me.
Okay.
so it sounds like
you sound super smart.
Yeah, so it sounds smart.
And you're from Alabama.
Yeah. But fuck, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I watched it when everybody was like sucking it off, like it's like the originals. And even then, I was like, dude, this fucking movie is like boring as shit. It's like fucking.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm gonna say this. Of the 3, I did find it the most boring when I rewatched it because I sat down, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this movie a chance. I didn't go back and reread all the shit I've been saying over the last 3 years. Cody is a convert. Cody was like, this is my favorite Star Wars movie. And I'm not saying that it's hyperbole. Cody can agree with me. Then the last year or so, he's rewatched. He goes, yeah, I really like this movie less than I did before.
Well, I don't think I ever said it was my favorite, but I definitely enjoyed it more the first time.
I think a lot of people just were happy to see Star Wars back on the fucking screen.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Sitting there watching them, I like Part 7 just because it sets up. I know it's just a direct rip off of 4. Yeah. This one tries to do something different, and then I like Part 9. The thing of those movies is there's too much Disney humor.
Yes, it feels like a fucking Marvel movie, and that's not what I watch Star Wars for.
Yeah, there's too many fucking jokes. I don't even know, man. We'll have to get in that one day when I suggest all these movies. But there's just too much Disney humor. It takes away from that point.
Yeah.
But I actually liked Finn as a character. I don't remember liking him that much.
I thought he was interesting, but they don't do anything with it.
Yeah. Because you said, they fucking introduced so many characters and the last movie we got to wrap all this shit up like a bad condom.
I don't know everything. Well, we should save it for if we ever cover it.
But I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so
wait, guys, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I've missed doing this, man. It's been a shitty month.
Yeah.
Shitty year so far. Again.
Yeah. It started out pretty shitty. Hopefully it's better. But like I said, I've really missed doing this with you guys. And for these 2.5 hours, we add in setup and all this stuff when we do these podcasts, just fucking, it's a brightness for me for every 2 weeks. I love it. So I appreciate you guys doing this with me.
Yep, no problem.
Man, and hopefully we get some listeners back. Hell, we're kind of stagnant at 4:45.
Yeah,
I don't think many people liked our year-end episode.
Yeah,
or many people gave it a chance.
Until next time, everyone.
On Dragon Ball Z.
Cowabunga.
Cow fucking piece of dog shit.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it off of that. That's it. Bye, guys.